Let's take a quick look at how to set up DFS link replicas. So let's first examine our DFS topology here, distributed file system. In this example, I've set up a domain DFS root and two links, accounting information and sales information. And one thing you can do with domain DFS is set up replicas of your information to provide fault tolerance. When a user clicks on start and run and types in the domain DFS root, or again, what you'd most likely do is map a network drive to this location. But nonetheless, once they access this DFS root, they'll see a subfolder for accounting information, a subfolder for sales information. And even though these appear as subfolders, they're actually redirecting the user to the actual shared folder, which may exist across the network somewhere. So it looks like it's all just right here, when in fact it could be coming from across the network. Now, let's say sales information is stored in two different locations. So on this computer, on the X drive, I have a sales data folder. Well, on another computer, computer 1, let's look at the file system. On the F drive here, I set up another shared folder called sales data replica. That is an exact copy of the sales data. And notice there's nothing here, so there is no copy of sales data. What we can do with DFS is set up a replica, and then the data will be copied over here through the FRS service. So back to our first computer, the DFS file system, distributed file system. For sales information, we'll set up a new target. And path to target folder is on computer 1, a different computer, and the share name will be different too. So I had set up another share there called sales2 just to differentiate the fact that it was a different shared folder name than the original shared folder we used. So it's saying here that the new target can't be replicated to until the replication is configured. So what I'll do is set up a replication to copy the sales information from the first shared folder to the second shared folder. That is handled by FRS, File Replication Service. FRS will make sure that the information is synced up and identical. Now for the topology, if you don't know what to say, you can just say ring. If you know what you're doing, you can do custom and build your own connections. For this example, we'll just do a ring topology. Okay, so sales information now has two links. Switching back over to the second computer, we'll see in sales data replica, we still do not have any content. So right now, if we access the sales information, like a user might do, the user would access the DFS root. In the DFS root, we have sales information. And when they open up the sales information folder in the DFS root, this is a link. The sales information link has two targets. At this point, one target takes us to actual information. Another target would take us to an empty folder because replication has not yet occurred. So at this point, we're getting the good copy and not the bad copy. But that's not to say that another user couldn't get the bad copy. So you want to make sure that replication has taken place to make sure that the user doesn't accidentally get referred to the bad copy. In fact, we can probably test that out. So there's our example. On the second computer, sales information is blank. So DFS is site aware. It will take you to the nearest computer that is supposed to have a copy of the information. And right now, this second computer is supposed to have a copy of the information, but replication has not yet taken place. Once it takes place, we will have a copy of the information here. So back on the first computer in DFS, we can right-click the sales information link and specify to show replication information. And it tells us that file replication has been enabled. And we could stop replication, but we don't really want to do that for this example. We'd like to have the information synced up. And if you want to customize replication, you can right-click the sales information link or any link Go to Properties, you'll have a Replication tab. On the Replication tab, you can choose to customize the topology, customize the schedule, edit out which files you would like to replicate. The default is replication is always available. While we're waiting for the sales information to replicate between the two targets, we can also set up route replicas. So you can right-click the DFS route and choose New Route Target, and that'll give you more fault tolerance by having route replicas. So we'll put the replica on the other server. So it wants to use the same share name info, so we'll go to the second computer, and I set up a folder called DFS route replica. We'll share that out as info. Okay, it's shared as info. We'll go back to the wizard. And there we go. We just set up another route replica on the second computer, computer 1. So now we have two routes. So when a user tries to connect to the DFS route, westsim.private/info, westsim.private just specifies the domain name. It doesn't specify a particular computer name. So therefore, the distributed file system will choose the closest route to that particular user or computer. So to sum up, DFS, distributed file system, allows you to have users connect to a DFS route. Underneath the route will be DFS links. The links will appear as shared folders. And both the route and the links can have multiple targets or replicas. And what happens with DFS is that it's site aware. It will return back the information that is closest to the user. So if a user is in a branch office and there's a replica of the sales information in both the main office and branch office, they'll get connected to the closest server, the server that's in the branch office, that has the local copy of the sales information. And at some point then, through the FRS service, file replication service, FRS can sync up our replicas and make sure they have identical content. So through replication, through time, the second computer will have information here in sales data replica. So replicas give you fault tolerance, and in a sense they give you localized access to the information. So it saves on bandwidth as well.